Welcome to Tough Men of Faith. I'm RT Stringer. I'm joined by my co-host tonight,
Nick Robertson.
Nick Robertson.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question. I meant to ask you this earlier today.
What you got?
It just came to me. I don't know why. I've been hanging out with you the last 4 hours.
Yeah.
Did you look out the window today at church and wave to me while I was jumping in the dumpster?
No, I took your picture.
Did you really?
And it's a live picture. So it catches you bouncing like 3 times on the top of the dumpster pile. And I planned on giving it to producer Blake for Sunday service so he can say, put it up on the screen and say, does your pastor do this?
Well, the trash man hasn't came because
Right. No, I saw it. It's
piled up.
overflowing. It's
we
huge.
have a lot of things. We're a busy place around here,
Yeah.
so we got a lot going on. So the dumpster always fills up.
A lot of trash.
A lot of trash.
You've been storing a lot of trash in your office.
Yeah, so we needed more room, and
Yeah.
I got on it and I started jumping up and down, trying to get to go down further. And
Yeah. There was no forgiveness in what was in the dumpster, was there?
I didn't. No. Well, I didn't know anybody's watching. And I look in the window at the
Yeah.
church. And
You just see a cell phone poking out around the blinds.
I didn't see the cell phone.
Yeah.
And then I told one of the other pastors was out there with me. I was like, man, I wish he could hear me because I was going to say, I need you out here because I need some extra weight to make this go down.
See what you did? Huh. It just goes full circle, doesn't it? Right back to the weight thing again.
No, not that you're heavy.
Yeah, whatever.
But you have like 8 inches on me.
What's RT stand for? Is it Richard?
No.
Oh, okay.
Really tough.
Just curious.
Been
Oh,
through
really
this.
tough. I'm sorry. All right. Where are we going today?
Well,
Because I feel like this is already going downhill.
it has.
Okay.
It has went downhill.
Yeah, because of my weight. Just pulling us downhill.
Well, no, we're
People that don't know me are going to think that you sit in here as some fat guy.
I've never said that.
You've alluded to it.
You have like a foot on me, so you're gonna weigh more than I do.
Yeah, I should. But
And muscle weighs more than fat. And you're
nice. I appreciate you.
people are gonna think I'm in here making like fat jokes at you, and I don't.
It's okay, man. I forgive you.
You're taller than I am. Like you and producer Blake are really razzing on or making fun of me the other day
About what?
because you're talking about ordering the T-shirts for this podcast. I walk in the room and you're saying, "Well, we don't need any smalls. We just need like some large and mediums and extra large and double extra large."
I didn't realize that you know what shirt size you
And
wore.
I was like, "Well, I need a small."
Yeah.
And then you guys wouldn't stop making fun of me.
I didn't realize you did like belly shirts and midriff shirts when you walked around the house in your new podcast shirt. You know,
I thought there's nothing better than a Tough Men of Faith shirt that this
yeah,
barely covered my belly
shows
button.
your belly button. Let's see that belly button piercing there, RT.
No.
No,
No belly button piercing, no tattoo around my belly button.
not yet.
Just trying to show off the stomach, you know.
Yep. All right. This has gone way off
This
the
is
rails.
bad.
Yep.
This is bad.
So where are we going? Producer Blake's over there just waving his hand like, well, should we just start over?
No, we're just going to finish it.
Yeah, we're going to roll with it. And
Forgiveness.
Keep going strong. Forgiveness. Hey, wait a minute before we jump in.
I'm ready to jump in.
No. A couple weeks ago, you and I were talking. I think it was in our Ecclesiastes miniseries.
That was a good series.
It was a really good
You guys
series.
should go back and listen to it
Yeah.
if you haven't.
I enjoyed that series. I enjoyed recording it. I really enjoyed listening to it after the fact.
It was so good. Like, I hate saying it was good that everyone talked about it.
Right.
I learned stuff when I listened to it.
I do too. Yeah.
That one.
Mainly how good of a speaker I am.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Anyway, we were talking about it, and we were talking about a story where you and your dad wrestled an ostrich or something. Killed an ostrich? I'm not really sure. I want to bring that back up again. I think we need to tell this story because people are wondering that have heard the Ecclesiastes series now. They're like, who killed the ostrich? And it just never got, it was never talked about again. And I think now is a good time.
It's always the funny part is like we talk through a lot of great things on that, and then people are reaching out like,
Yeah.
"Hey,
I heard
want to
something
hear about
an
something about an
ostrich.
ostrich." Like, yeah, but did you learn anything about a time to kill? I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
guess it was a time to kill.
did you learn anything else? Or like I preach a sermon sometimes, like on forgiveness or something. They come and say, "Hey, you had that illustration.
Right.
Can you tell me more about that?"
Right.
That's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
that's what I wanted to actually hear
Oh,
about.
you missed the point.
Yeah.
So I guess you missed the point. Oh, yeah. So
Can
I
we talk
did.
about it?
I
I'm
can
curious
tell
what
you
happened.
Okay, here's what happened.
All right.
I was probably 16, 17 years old.
It's not like you went to a zoo and killed an ostrich. Or
No.
We weren't on safari.
No safari.
Okay.
It is actually an emu, not an ostrich. It's a little bit smaller.
Dude, I think those things are meaner.
They're pretty mean.
Yeah.
Here's what happened.
It'd take a tough man to put one down.
Yeah, well, my dad was a tough man.
Oh, yeah,
He's
no.
the toughest guy I know.
Yeah.
So we lived in the city, like the heart of the city. Like we didn't live out in the farm or anything. Like
You guys are like southeast side Indy, right?
southeast side Indy,
Okay.
right? So yeah, houses are stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
Small yards. So there was a guy about 2 blocks away that had emus.
Dude, this whole time I thought it was an ostrich. Like, it was just flailing its neck around,
You know what an emu is, though, right? I mean, it looks
Yeah,
just
but
like an ostrich.
They don't have, like, the long neck, though, right?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, exact same thing.
Maybe I'll have to look them up.
A little bit smaller.
Okay. I'm going to the Google.
Yeah, go to Google. If you guys don't know, look it up. An emu, it's about like an ostrich.
Okay.
So they had a bunch of them in this guy's
good
yard.
night, dude.
Yeah, see?
This thing looks prehistoric.
Yeah, they're crazy. So here's what happened.
It's like a small little velociraptor. All right, anyway, go ahead.
Hey, look at its claws, though, on its feet.
Did I see its claws?
So I guess that's how it hurts people. It was a Wednesday night. I remember this because we always went to church on Wednesday night.
But not this night.
Well, we
We're having
did.
emu for dinner.
So I look at my backyard.
Yeah.
I see an emu running around. I tell my dad, hey, there's this giant, I didn't know what an emu was.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, there's this giant bird, looks like an ostrich. We live in the city.
Something doesn't belong.
My dad's like, I mean, he was pretty like, matter of fact, said what he thought.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you talking about? Get in the car, we're going to church.
Yeah.
We go to church. So apparently this emu was running around the entire time.
Okay.
We get home that night about 2 hours later. And so there was a grocery store and a Pizza Hut just down the street.
Okay.
Behind it, they'd finally trapped this emu. Animal control was there. There are cop cars lined up. So, if you go behind like a store, there's like, you can drive that road behind it.
Like an alley or something.
An alley, so something like that. A little bit of a larger one, but they had both sides blocked off.
Okay.
There are police officers standing on both sides and people. And so we walk down there. And so my dad lines up next to like this cop. So there's two cop cars and this police officer and my dad.
Your dad just jumped in. He's like, I'm going to help you.
Yeah. And so they needed help. So he's just standing there talking to him.
Okay.
And so the cop tells my dad, I remember it because I was standing back just a little bit. He goes, whatever happens, we can't let this emu get through us. He said, we've been chasing this thing for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So animal control's there, and they had a tranquilizer gun. And so they're like, we're not going to tranquilize it because we think it'll kill it. Like, they're probably not used to, like, how much would you shoot an ostrich with?
We have a tranquilizer for a rhinoceros and a dog.
Yeah.
Nothing in between.
Yeah.
So
So they didn't want to tranquilize it.
Gotcha.
So then all of a sudden, the emu, they were trying to get closer to capture it with like a net or lasso it or something.
Yeah.
It goes running straight at my dad and this police officer.
Nice.
And so I remember the cop jumps out of the way. My dad is like a crazy Vietnam vet. Like when you hear that, he was like, that's him. Like, nothing scared him. He grabs the emu and he pulls it down on top of him. And so...
Hold on, you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu way wrong.
This was before the MMA was even a thing. He pulls it down on top of him.
Yeah.
So the only thing I remember is that the animal control guy said, because I was always worried about the thing biting me. He's like, no, they don't bite. Like they bite, it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt you. Okay. How they hurt you is if you're on the ground, the back of their feet has these massive claws.
Okay.
And they'll just dig into your chest or claw you. So my dad pulls it down on top of him. And so then...
Great thinking.
Yeah. He's holding on to it, but it's starting to get up.
Yeah.
So my dad screams at me. He goes, RT, get over here. So I'm just standing back watching it because I really, I had a lot more common sense than my dad.
It sounds like it.
At about age 6.
Okay.
And so I'm 16 here. He yells, get over here. So I knew hey, I better get over here and help or I'm going to get the wrath of him later.
Yeah.
So I go running.
Take the wrath of this prehistoric bird.
Right.
Or,
so the bird starts to stand up on top of him. I dive and jump on top of the bird and knock it back down on top of my dad.
Nice.
So... My dad's holding it from the bottom.
Like you guys bear hugging a bird on the ground.
I'm on top of it. So I grab one of its legs.
Yeah.
And its legs are so strong. It just keeps moving across the pavement, however it wants. But I'm holding one.
Yeah.
So this other police officer comes up. He grabs the other leg. So both of us are trying to hold this bird down. And it keeps kicking its legs back and forth. Animal control comes up and they start tying up the legs as we're trying to hold it.
Yeah.
So it keeps kicking. Then all of a sudden, the bird stops kicking. So I'm thinking, he's tapping out.
Right.
We won.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good about myself. My dad's underneath of it. He's feeling good about himself. So what had happened?
Did it really tap out?
The bird had died.
It tapped all the way out.
apparently, at least what they told us back then is that their hearts can't take much. And so probably when I was on top of it, it was so excited. My dad was underneath of it. It was kicking that it just died. Like its heart exploded or something.
It got excited when you were on top of it.
Nope.
Gotcha.
So we get off of it, and it's just laying there, And my dad's from the country, and it's a different mentality.
Right.
So he's super proud of us. So there's a crowd there, right? We live in the inner city, so all these police officers there, everyone's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Before cell phones, thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
None of this is recorded.
Man, I wish it was.
No, I'm so glad it wasn't. So my dad gets up, and the bird's dead, and so he looks at it as a victory. Yeah. We just won this war. I'm so proud of myself. And so someone goes, I remember this lady goes, "Is that bird dead?" And my dad's like, "Oh yeah, it's dead. We killed it." Well, the problem is that everyone around is getting more sympathetic for this bird, right? It's no longer like this is a nuisance to where my dad is like proud of himself.
It's like you just killed this huge
You guys
bird.
just killed this bird. I remember looking at my dad and I said, "We need to get out of here.
You are a murderer.
Like we should leave. Like these people aren't as happy as you as you are with yourself. Right. Like I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of me.
Right. Let's take this bird home. Let's clean it. Let's eat it.
Yeah. No, that's what I thought we would eat the bird. So we ended up just like we just kind of like snuck through the crowd. We were gone.
Yeah.
So, no more.
Like a vapor.
So, I don't know. That's the emu, the story.
Man. I'm so glad I brought this up again.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard like 2 truths and a lie? Like the game. So a lot of times you do an icebreaker, like, hey, tell 2 things that are true about you and something's a lie.
Yeah. So
I always tell that. Like, hey, I once killed an emu with my bare hands.
Huh.
No, that must be a lie.
That's got to be a lie.
All right, man, let's move on before I get PETA any more upset with me.
Yeah, no
than
kidding.
you already have tonight.
Not like the pastor on the south side that kills emus in his free time.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess if you guys ever need my assistance, you got an emu running around your neighborhood, give me a call. I'm your guy.
Send him a page.
Send me a page. All right, forgiveness.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about tonight.
Good.
We're going to move quickly through it.
Okay.
Because we've already taken up most of our time talking about killing emus.
I feel like you owe the emu farmer an apology.
Yeah. I feel
forgiveness. You don't owe him a forgiveness.
Well, I feel like the south side of India owed me a thank you that night, and I didn't get. So, forgiveness.
Will you forgive them?
I forgive you guys. I kept the neighborhood safe.
Right.
So let me ask you something.
Shoot.
Have you ever been hurt by someone?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip-flop the question. Have you ever hurt someone?
Oh, I'm sure that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
You hurt my feelings about every other podcast.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure.
Actually, with the weight jokes you say I've made that I have not made about you.
I forgive you.
Forgiveness is a big one.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't think we've ever really talked about it. We've alluded to it on the podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't know if forgiveness is the right word, but I think men have problems with forgiveness, or at least forgiving other people that seem to do them wrong.
Yeah, I think it's pride. It's probably the root of it, but forgiveness is it. So a couple things. Like I think we're slow at, if someone hurts us, a lot of times we don't want to let them know.
Yeah.
So maybe that like you are really ticked off at someone, like they did something to you.
Right.
Like let's say I said something to you.
Yeah.
And I just said it in passing, and I kept going.
Right.
And you've been ticked about it for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know it because I say so much dumb stuff.
Right. I do too.
I don't even know it. So
I had this problem at work. I got really ticked off with one of the people that I work for, one of the guys I work for, one of the home builders. I don't think he even knew that I was mad. Mm-hmm. And he like every time he see me, he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?" You know, and he's like him hauling around and hey, you know, hope everything's great and yada. I got this, I got that for you to do, job security. And so I had some snide remark every time that I'd see him. And one day he asked me, he said, "Is there a problem between us or something?" I was like, yeah, dude, I hate working for you. You know, I just went off the deep end and, you know, I just kind of explained it all. And I just went crazy off the deep end. He had no idea I was even mad at him.
Yeah.
He just, he didn't even have a clue. Mm-hmm. It's just, anyway,
yes,
I feel like we've worked past it. But
yeah, but it's good to let people know, right? I mean, it's like if someone hurts you,
have to.
You need to go to them and say, hey, you hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a thing. You know, it really upset me, and could you fix it?
So many times as guys, we just keep it bottled up, and then you run into them at a ball game, or you see them at, I don't know, church or out in the community, like,
right.
Oh, I really hate you.
And
I forgot how much I hate you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just keep the bitterness inside.
Right.
The crazy thing about it, it's not hurting them at all. Like that guy who doesn't know that, he's like, life's good for me.
Yeah.
But every time you think about him, you're like boiling inside.
Yeah.
It's causing you anxiety and some other things probably. And
Yeah, it's happened.
And then the other part of it is like forgiving people, right? So I think that's tough to do, like when someone messes up. And
yeah, I'm usually slow to forgive.
Yeah.
Seems like I keep things bottled up for a while, and I shouldn't. And even looking scripturally, you know, looking at Matthew.
Yeah.
I think I stole this from you, but
go ahead.
You know,
man,
Matthew 18,
you have a good pastor. It's like
right, yeah,
preaching,
you can just
preaching through the book of Matthew right now.
Right.
So yeah.
But it's like, you know, how many times should I forgive him, Lord? And he says, what's he say, 70 times 7?
Yeah.
So 490 times, and then 491st time, I'm done forgiving him. So
yeah,
I think that's what it means.
So
it's for the math scholars out there.
I got to visit this. This is cool concept where it's a lot of new guys coming to church. It's actually like guys that we'd really fit in with. There's some kind of rough around the edges guys, and there's some new Christians. And so I was in a Bible study with one of them.
Yeah.
Out of state, so no one around here.
Okay.
But I was just able to go and hang out with them. And so that we're talking through this in Matthew chapter 18.
Yeah.
And where it talks about how many times, you get to the 400 sometimes. So this guy goes, man, I've been keeping track. He goes, my brother,
Yeah.
he told us, I can't remember, like the number he had in his mind was like 300 and some. He goes, and I promise you, when I get to 491, I'm going to hit him so hard. I was dying. The guy was sincere as could be.
Right.
But he's trying to grow in his walk and stuff. And so we talk through what that means.
He's going, as literal as he can.
He
was. He's waiting for 491.
I mean, he was ready, like inside him was like, I keep forgiving like I'm supposed to, but I'm telling you, I'm going to hit him when I get there. Like,
when 491 comes up, I'm done.
Yeah.
And 70 times 7 was fulfilled.
So I think what Scripture's saying there is that's like an unlimited time, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
You're not supposed to keep track. So
right.
for you guys out there.
Well, and think about it this way, Christ forgives us. God, God forgives us countless times.
So much.
And we need forgiveness every day just for, our even the smallest transgressions. And, I think the 70 times 7, like you said, it was just an unlimited number. Mm-hmm. Just keep forgiving.
Yeah. So as Christians, we've been forgiven of so much. That's how we forgive. You mentioned Matthew there. That's chapter 18. Let's just work through that next few verses.
Oh, yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead. You got it pulled up?
I'll pull it up here on my computer. So right after Peter asks that question, how many times forgive? Jesus says not 7 times and talks about all the times. The next verse says, hey, there's a kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants. When he began to settle, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. So this guy comes to this king. He owes the king a lot of money, 10,000 talents. It's
something he could never pay back.
Never pay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So an enormous amount of money, never pay it back. Where are we at? Verse 25, and since he could not pay, his master ordered him to be sold and his wife and children and all that he had and for payment to be made.
Yeah.
So can't pay it, you're going to get sold.
Yeah.
So the servant fell on his knees, imploring him, have patience with me, and I will pay you everything. So he starts begging for his life. Verse 27, out of pity for him, the master of the servant released him and forgave him the debt. So it's a cool story up to this point, right? So this guy owes a lot of money. He can't pay it back. There's no way. His family's involved. He's like, man, please forgive me. And so the king forgives him of all his debt. So an amount that's more than you're ever going to make in a lifetime hanging drywall, right? So we're talking about a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And I know that you make a ton of money doing drywall.
Oh, yeah, I'm just getting filthy rich over here.
Yeah, but you would never make this much money. The guy forgives him.
Well, it's 10,000 talents. I mean, I don't even know what one talent equates to.
No, so. I don't know. Verse 28, so that same guy who's just forgiven of a bunch of money.
Yeah.
He goes out. He found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii, so just a little bit of money. So now we're talking about versus, think of it as how much money you'll make in a lifetime versus a day's wage, maybe.
Right.
He seizes him, and he begins to choke him, the scripture says. And he starts saying, pay me what you owe me. So his servant, the guy he's choking, begins to plead with him before he passes out, I guess.
Yeah.
And says, hey, have patience with me, and I will pay you. He's saying, hey, I will pay you the money.
Yeah.
But he refused and went and put him in prison until he should pay the debt. So this guy.
He gets forgiven
Yep.
of his humongous debt.
Yeah.
I mean, his gajillion dollars. Mm-hmm. And, it's like he bought Apple stock.
Yeah.
That kind of debt.
Yeah.
When it first day one.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway.
So he refused, puts him in jail. So verse 31.
Yeah, and he's worried about one Dogecoin.
Yeah. The fellow servants and other people around, they saw what had taken place. They were greatly distressed. So they go and report this to the master, all taken place. So the original king who had forgiven everything.
Yeah.
The master summoned him and said to him, you wicked servant, I forgave you all that debt because you pleaded with me. And you had no mercy on your fellow servant as I had mercy on you. And in his anger, the master delivered him to the jailers until he should pay all his debts. So the heavenly Father would do unto you if you do not forgive your brother from your heart.
Right.
Isn't that a great story?
It is, yeah. So don't take a chance at not forgiving someone infinite times.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be, forgiven infinitely.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can make up words on here, too.
I think so.
Yeah. No, you did it right.
It's like Scrabble.
Scrabble, yeah.
We just don't get any points for it.
No. All right, so let's do this.
Yeah.
Practically, here's a few things. How can we forgive? Or the big thing is, as Christians, we forgive because what Christ has forgiven us is so much. So who am I to hold something against you for making fun of me for being short?
Yeah.
You made that joke or something.
Yeah. I forgive you for calling me fat all the time. I'm good with it.
Because Christ has forgiven me for do you know how much stupid stuff I do?
Yeah, I know how much you do. I can't imagine how much I don't know about.
Right.
Yeah,
there's been so much in my life that you don't know about, that you wouldn't want to know about, that Jesus knows about. And he looks at me, he's like, I'm going to forgive you for that. Yeah. And everything else that you do.
Yeah, you're probably forgiven for killing that emu and not eating it. Just saying.
But then, so God forgives me for all these things. And then who am I to turn around and look at someone else who's hurt me?
Right.
Like, no, I'm not going to forgive you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So,
How do you call yourself a Christian if you've been forgiven countless times over and over, and then you look at other people and you can't forgive the same way you've been forgiven?
Yep. So you need to forgive.
Yep.
The other thing about forgiveness is unforgiveness really hurts you.
Yeah.
So even that story you told.
It doesn't affect the guy that I was mad at. It affected me because every time I saw him, I would get instantly upset,
Yeah.
Yeah, it affected me, not him.
Yeah, so when you're holding a grudge, you're trying to hold it over someone's head. It's
Right.
really not hurting that other person.
Yep.
It's kind of, you've maybe heard it said that unforgiveness is like grabbing broken glass and just keep squeezing it and hoping it hurts someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Or drinking rat poison and hope it kills the person you're mad at.
Yeah.
It's eating you alive inside.
Yep.
So if you don't forgive, it's really going to hurt you. The big one here that I think you need to get for Nick Robertson.
What do you got?
This is why Nick Robertson needs to forgive. It's because Nick Robertson's going to need forgiveness again.
Yeah.
Let's say...
Wow. I think we'll all need forgiveness again, but you know what? I'll play along here.
Let's say like Rachel was to do something that she needed forgiveness for. I don't think she ever would.
No,
But hypothetically, if she did something very, very small.
Yeah.
And she needed you to forgive her.
Yeah.
And you look at her and you're like, no, I'm not going to forgive you.
Yeah.
That's really stupid on your part.
It is.
Because I know you.
Yeah.
And come tomorrow.
I'm going to need her forgiveness.
You're going to need forgiveness for several things.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that true of all of us, though?
It's funny. It's the one thing I've learned about this podcast really the most is that I need Rachel's forgiveness.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say stupid things for a laugh, and she knows that I do it, and she still forgives me.
Yeah.
70 times 7.
Yeah, so but you need to forgive because you're going to need forgiveness. So if I'm holding a grudge against you, like you did something to me, I'm going to need you to forgive me at some point. Like if we stay friends long enough.
It's like you were talking about that guy earlier, that you were doing the Bible study with. I'm scared when we get to podcast 491.
Yeah.
Rachel is going to whop me. It's going to be bad.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only encouragement I'd have, like I know we're getting long here, but is to encourage you guys, if you're struggling to forgive someone, which is a very real thing. Like I know we've been joking, but there's some real hurt, some abuse, some hard things that have maybe happened in your past that you're struggling to forgive.
Yep.
And it can take time. Like I'm not saying it's easy where you can just do it today.
Right.
But a couple things, remember that forgiveness and trust are two different things. I may forgive you, but I may not trust you right now.
Yeah.
Trust can take years to build back, if trust ever comes back.
Exactly.
But forgiveness can happen. It needs to happen for your sake.
Yep.
But if you're struggling with it, I would encourage you to start praying for that person.
Yeah.
By name. I'm not praying. I know you're over there smirking.
No,
right?
I'm not. Because
praying to get ran over by a train, right?
No,
Is that
I
what
know
you're
where
thinking?
you're going with it, and I like it.
Yeah.
Pray for that person and watch how yourself is changed.
Yeah.
By praying for that person. You will end up changing by praying for someone else.
Yeah.
Might be a mindset, it might be a physical change, it might be an emotional change, but you will end up changing by praying for someone else.
Yeah. That's what I encourage you to do that. Kind of in closing, think of it this way. When Jesus was on the cross, dying for your sins, my sins, so that we can have forgiveness.
Right.
There were people, soldiers and other people there, mocking him, spitting on him, beating him, saying all kinds of mean things about him, just treating him as poor as you can treat anyone ever in history.
Yep. And he's still asking his Father to forgive them.
He prays for them.
Right.
Like as they're beating him, he's praying that God would forgive them.
Yep.
That's our model.
Yeah.
So he's forgiven us. Our model's now for whatever someone's done for you, pray for forgiveness.
Yep.
So this has been good. I know we spent
this has been great.
The first 45 minutes talking about how to kill an emu.
Well, and that's good too, because that's a skill that I didn't have before, but now I know how to do it.
Every tough man needs to know how to kill an emu.
Yeah, I agree. Watch the claws.
Don't worry about biting.
Right.
The claws.
Yeah, the claws is where it's at.
All right. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Looking forward to being back with you next week and maybe teach you how to kill, I don't know.
Probably squirrels.
Squirrels, yeah.
We'll start at the bottom and work our way back up again.
All right. See you guys.